This morning, when I woke up, it was absolutely beautiful. Every single morning we've been having, the prettiest mornings I've seen in many, many years in September. It's real dry air out here in the Texas Hill Country right now, and cool. It just feels like it's almost deer season. So, I love to mow. I love to mow anyway, so I jumped on my Cub Cadet this morning, and up here around the house, everything that I mow, I've got about 5 acres up around the house, right down below here, over there, out in the front, up by the road and everything. And last year, when we first bought this place, I came in here and cleaned it all off with a dozer, pushed everything away, and cleaned it all up and got ready to live here. And so for the first year, there was almost nothing but dirt everywhere. And the first deer season that came last year, it was all dirt everywhere. And up until this year when I started mowing and the grass came in, I started mowing, is the first time in a year, with all the pictures you see on our game cameras, was the first time in a year that I saw deer out my window. Last year, we had late in the season, or before deer season, but late after deer season, when the ryegrass is real tall, the elk were coming up here and feeding in the backyard. We saw them quite a few times. But anyways, I started thinking, after I got through, my wife gave me some kind of vitamins this morning, and boy, I tell you what, I don't know what they are, but they really worked good because I couldn't quit working. So when I got through mowing up around the house and everything, it's being almost the middle of September, it's time to go out, and where you hunt is mow as many small like feed areas. Picture it in your mind like a feed area, almost like you're using your lawnmower to create a food plot. And so I went down there this morning, and that's what I did. The grass is real high, seeds on top of it, and that's a perfect time. So I went mowed, a whole bunch of little places. I'll take you down there and show you. And good thing about it, you're knocking all them seeds off. And so then when the rain's gonna start coming again, poof, right about bow season, you're gonna have all kind of deer where you mowed. It makes such a difference, it's not even funny. Because like I said in my last video before, where do you see the deer at? You see them on the side of the highway where they mow, you see them up in people's yards where they mow. So it only makes sense to mow out there where you hunt. And not everybody's got a tractor. And I've had tractors and I've had mowers at the same time. And I much prefer to use something like that Cub Cadet to mow that grass with, even out there in them weeds, because you get such a more even mulch on that, what you're chopping up, mowing down there. All them seeds just really going out, and you got some mulch covering it up at the same time, and it really helps all those wild seeds pop up and grow all kind of wild plants for the deer. But anyways, we're up here by the house right now, but we're gonna jump on the four-wheeler and go down there and kind of show you around what it takes to, bring them in. You see all this tall grass is right here, all these tall weeds? I ran out of gas, but that's the kind of stuff you want to come back in here and mow. Look at all those seed tops on there. Come in here and mow that with that ride line. We'll put it up high as it'll go. I put mine on 5. That's as high as it'll go with that Cub Cadet, but it works great. I don't hit rocks or anything. And you mow this down and mulch it all up and knock that off and knock them seeds out. It'll start raining. And by the time the hunting season gets here, all those little beans and grasses and everything the deer really like will be popping up. But this is what it looks like before I mowed it. We got a lot of places, but I want to save this one and show you because I ran out of gas and I couldn't mow it anyway. So you'll know what it's like out here in the hill country. See all these rocks right here? Look at this. See the road right here? Look up yonder. See all those rocks up there? It's nothing but rocks out here. And if you're going to do your own dozer work, what I do on every place that I ever clean up, first, of course, I push it off. And when I'm all through cleaning it up, make it as pretty as I can clean it up with that dozer, pushing and cleaning, then I raise that blade up, raise those rakes up so they're not on the ground, and I go back and forth, and I break these rocks and just run them into the ground. And every place I've ever had, when I'm cleaning up, like up around the house or back on the back of the place where I'm planning on hunting or anything like that, I'm always thinking, I'm gonna come in here with my riding lawnmower and mow this place. And when I tell people I'm gonna mow this with my riding lawnmower, they just laugh at me. But if you do it yourself, or if you hire somebody in rocky country, just make sure they pick that blade up. It's gonna cost you a little bit more extra time for them to run it in there, because they're gonna go back and forth and run it in. But believe me, it's well worth it, because when you got rocks like this, I mean, that's all you can do. You can't push them all the way. You'd be pushing yourself all the way to China, and you still have rocks. But anyways, I just want to show you this, and we're gonna head on down to some grass. This is where Powerline comes through, goes all the way for miles back through other ranches and everything. But so I came back in here with that dozer. I ran in all of the rocks best I could, run them as fast as I could, and I've come through here now just with that little cupcake lawnmower. And I've come down through here and mowed about 1/4 of a mile. And it does two things. Of course, it makes me a nice road where I can see where I'm going. Plus, when all that grass starts popping back up and the weeds and everything, when they travel through here, they'll come along and they'll nibble along, feed along as they're going along your mowed trail. Plus, it brings in a dove and quail. Right over here, there's my gate right over there. I put a second gate for my son-in-law. And so he lives in town. That way, when he gets up early in the morning, slip out here, drive right over here and park. So what I did today, I took that lawnmower and I drove all the way down that road, all the way down to where his stand is on the side of a hill, and mowed it so that when he gets out here and parks, he won't step on a rattlesnake when he's walking down there to his stand, because I got the best son-in-law in the world and I don't want nothing to happen to him. I'm coming down this real rocky hill right here. Look at these boulders over here piled up. The big ones are in the bottom. Some of them are big as this Kawasaki mule right here. I had to take them off the edge of this little hill right here, this bluff, so that we can make a road coming up here. But with that Cub Cadet, I just went right down here, because I already run it in real good with those tracks, run those rocks in. So I mowed all the way down here, mowed all that goatweed up. That's got a two-purpose purpose. Is when you're mowing like that, knocking them seeds off that goatweed, it's also called dove weed, and the dove really like it. But that's where he hunts right there. Let me pull over here. That way you slip in, slip down this hill, look down that hill down there at that feeder. You talk about a beautiful view. I mean, it's beautiful. I don't know if you can see through them trees or not, but it's just a beautiful valley. He's sitting on the side of a hill, looking out down into a valley down in there. And the elk, I mean, they love this stand. This is one of their favorite stands right here. I mowed all this goatweed down the fence line right here so we can mow out our little trail for our four-wheeler, our truck, whatever. But it looks pretty, and it really brings in this a lot of seed for the quail and the dove and everything. Another spot back over in here. This is where I have that bow blind. I'm gonna hunt with my recurve up here. In fact, I went hunting Monday, but I couldn't use my recurve because this is built for a south wind, and southwest or south, and it was a north wind, so I hunted with a crossbow out of my deer blind. I didn't see anything, but they were here. When we pulled up the Claire stand over there, the elk were there. They got there before we did, and we spooked them all off. They were moving way before daylight, but they were whistling and barking and everything. They were everywhere. But I mowed about 200 yards this way, and all I did is mow like 3 or 4 strips wide going back in there. This is a trail I pushed with a dozer. You could drive a truck through there if you wanted to, but we never drive through there. So I went there today. It's got good grass coming in, so I went there and mowed all that grass, knocked the seed off, so that'll all be coming back up. And I went about 200 yards and made it probably, 2 to 3 or 4 passes. But anyways, as soon as the wind turns back around, and I need to practice some more because I'm tired from mowing all the time and working, I'm gonna get back up here and see if I can kill a big old hog with my recurve. I really want to do that bad, but the hog's not cooperating. Okay, this is over by my deer stand. As you can see, we have a lot of thick cedars in here. We have a lot of different oak trees, all kind of oak trees, Texas madrone trees, and things like that that bear fruit. But see this taller, thick grass right here? You don't take out every bit of your grass, because this is, I mean, you could hide 50 deer in this high grass. So they have a lot of places where they can just lay down and get wind and bed down this high grass. But if you look up through here, I've gone back up through here, mowed my road and both sides of the road. That way they'll come, when they're coming through and coming in, they'll feed right up this road right here. And then we get back up here around that feed pen up by my deer stand, I'll show you some other places where I went ahead and mowed some more. Okay, we got this Grape KoolAid that I always talk about. We got a bottle of water. Every time we come to our stand, we do two things, because you can't come in here without them they know you're here. So every time we come over here, we just take some of this Grape KoolAid and we just sprinkle a little bit around, just like this. We're not putting it on corn or nothing. It's just kind of a cover scent. And now I'm going to go over. I'm going to set my deer feeder off, and then before I leave, I'll sprinkle a little bit of this Grape KoolAid around there. And we've done that, drove off, forgot something, come back, and they're already at the feeder. And you think, well, that's Texas, that's how they do. Not in this area. These are the wildest deer you've ever seen in your life. They're 3 times as big as Texas Hill Country deer, and there's not as many of them, even though you see a lot on our cameras. They're smart. They're very, very hard to hunt, but they'll get accustomed to your four-wheeler and what you're doing. So we don't even try to be quiet. We let them know we're here, except for when we're hunting. But anyways, I'm gonna go set that off in a minute. Then I'll sprinkle a little bit more and save enough for each deer stand that I go to. So I kind of put it out as a cover scent. It's a happy smell. Just set that feeder off. Now just sprinkle a little bit of this around right here. That's good enough right there. This is what I see when I look out my left window. There's a little road right here. So I went down, mowed both sides of the road. I mowed the middle of the road. That way, slow them down a little bit and give them something to eat, and I can see them better. This is another little area that I mowed. I mowed this one probably 3 weeks ago. And I came over this morning to mow it again. It's already was back up this high. But I mean, this whole thing was just covered with elk tracks. I was going to show them to you, but ran over them with a lawnmower, and they just look old. But they were fresh when I saw them. But after I ran over the lawnmower, they look old. But this whole little area right here, I mean, it's a perfect area to come in here, feed at night, just bed down, let the wind blow on them, cool off. And the deer, the elk, everything in the world, turkeys, everything, just love this open, mowed areas, and they love the edge that you create by mowing and leaving thick grass on the side. But this is just another one. We got some more I want to show you. But what I did, I went all through my place, and every place that I thought, man, this would be a real strategic place. It's good grass to mow, create new seeds, new growth and everything, and leave some of the thick stuff and mow some of it, make a lot of different edge. But they'll get out there in these mowed areas. If you have a deer lease or your own property or whatever you have, you know, that ride lawnmower is a great tool for hunting. But anyways, we're gonna head back up. We're gonna get up around Claire's place where she hunts up there. All of this right here is down in the valley. There's some tall hills up there. I don't know if you can see the top of those hills up there. But up there on top of those hills, that's that area we never go into. I have a road I pushed up there. Last year I planted in ryegrass on top of that hill, and we don't go up there. Whatever needs to hide, it can hide up there, and we're not going up there. But anyways, down here in this valley, this low part right here, I've mown all the way around through here, around all this oak motte, and made it real pretty. It's a perfect spot because you have more dirt down here in the bottom. And that way, like I was saying before, this weekend, it'll be about September the 15th, it's time to make sure you go up to your deer leases or your land. And this weekend is the best weekend to mow. Take your ride lawnmower, go up there and mow you as many quarter-acre places that you can find. Just mow them all up, or more if you can, but our long roads, mow both sides of it. Just give it places where the seeds can fall off and pop back up before bow season starts. And of course, it's gonna, this time of year, whatever's popping back up will take us right on into hunting season, deer season with a gun. But anyways, now we're gonna go back over to what I call the canyon. You know, I'm from Texas, so I call it a canyon. It's probably a draw, but we're gonna go back up in there. When I was cleaning up in there, that's that area where the cedar choppers come in and cut down cedars this big and 30 feet tall, dropped them, never took them, never did anything with it. So I mean, they were in there like this everywhere. And so I went in there and looked around. You talk about an eerie feeling. I just looked like rattlesnake heaven, but I didn't see any. But I got that all cleaned up. And after I got it cleaned up, I told this guy that I know on that up there in that canyon, I said, I'm gonna come in here and mow this with my ride lawnmower. He just laughed. I said, I am. See, I got all these rocks run in right here. I'm gonna come in with that riding lawnmower and mow it. So that's what I did today. The only thing is, it's like that. So that riding lawnmower don't want to go up that hill like that. It goes up pretty good, pretty slow, but it comes down real fast. That's a little spooky. But I mowed everything I could, and it's going to knock that seed down in there and make more and more things start growing in that canyon and bring in. The elk love that canyon anyway. Claire killed 2 elk in there last year. And that's where we see all the all-dads in that draw over there, that canyon. We saw one out of my stand before, but most of them are in that draw up there. So that's an excellent place to have something to grow in there that's natural to bring them in. But okay, now we'll go back up and show you a little bit more. Through this valley right here, I came over, I mowed it out. This is the other end of that road that we don't use, but you can see the really good grasses down in here. And I mowed that all back out, went back up at there about 200 yards. And then on the left, and even right there, see that little tree right down in the middle at the very end? That's a Texas madrone tree. And they make little fruit, and they kind of look like raspberries, but they taste like strawberries. And all these trees in there, this whole valley's full of those. And the deer, the turkey, the elk, everything that eats anything out here loves that. So by adding mowing to it and all that stuff popping up, then you got the Texas madrone trees bearing fruit. It brings in it has a lot of natural food and brings a lot of wildlife in here, and they stay in here. Because, you know, we do have water troughs everywhere. We have feeders, corn feeders. Corn feeders just attractive. They don't really, but they do eat it. But this time of year when it's this green, they don't really come to your feeder at all. Even the hogs are not really coming to the feeders right now, but they will. It does this every time we have a good green year in this part of the world. They lay off them feeders, which is fine with me because I turn them way, way down. And plus, they're going to get fatter and do better eating what God gave them to eat rather than what Don gave them to eat. So let's go over and check out Claire's draw. All right, so I came in here this morning. I went as high as I could go on the side of this canyon right here with that riding lawnmower. Went as far as I could, then rolled backwards and mowed some more. Mowed all over here. And last year, I came in here and I planted ryegrass. So everything in here was just covered with ryegrass. And now what it did, it made a mat for the wild seeds to come in, catch on to what was there, and not get washed down the side of that hill. So now it's starting to grow there. The natural grasses and everything's starting to grow. So when I mow them, now I'm knocking them seeds everywhere, and it's going to be even more. But I'll show you right here. We show you this play every time we come out here because they're using it every single night. Look at this. That elk is rubbing on this. He's just polishing out his antlers on here. Last year, we saw like 3 or 4 really big, what I call trophy elk. But this year we're seeing one great big one. I think he's a 6x6, and a lot of other, you know, mediocre, nice ones, and a bunch of spikes and cows and all that. But anyway, he's polishing out this. He's rubbing it every night, and but that sure looks exciting when we start seeing stuff like that. Hey, it's working. I want to show you something right here. I put this metal, I had sheet metal left over. I put these on my pins on purpose because that way you don't have to turn that feeder up let it run too long at all, but it hits that metal, and I mean, you can hear this thing 300 yards away. It really brings them in. I sprinkle out just a little bit where I'm standing right here. One thing I like right here, I can't get up here and mow this anyway. When I do mow it, I have to do it with a weed eater over there. But as you can see, we got sunflowers starting to grow in here. It'd be so nice to let these things go to seed, and then next year more and more and more, and we have more and more quail and dove in here. But it's sure pretty sight to see that sunflower seed in here. When you're mowing, think about, try to make it look park-like. Make it look like a park. This looks like a park in here because that's what they love. Where do you see deer? You see them in parks. You see where they're mowed, but make it park-like. And again, this weekend, the weekend of September 15th, when you head out to go to your deer list, go dove hunting, checking things out and getting ready for deer season, but take your riding lawnmower and mow as many places back in there, and that way it'll pop back up, and you have all kind of fresh beans and legumes and weeds and grasses that the deer really, really love. Okay, this is a good example of what we're talking about. Here we are. We just set that feeder off, drove away, went down, checked another feeder, came back, see that deer standing right there in the shade. And I don't know if you can see the one standing there looking at us. They're just waiting for us to leave. We'll drive by. It's probably going to run all the way up this fence right here. Don't jump the fence. But as soon as we come back, as soon as they see us go by, they're going to come right back. They know the squeaks of this four-wheeler. They know the sound of our voices. Look at that one standing there looking at me. They're just standing there looking at me. And these are wild deer. These are not typical hill country deer where they seem almost semi-tame. These are the wildest deer. I grew up hunting in Hallettsville, Texas. Hallettsville, Texas, when I grew up hunting, had some of the wildest deer you ever saw. There's two of them there. There's no there and one up there, so there was three. Hallettsville, Texas had some of the wildest deer you ever saw in your life. When I was growing up, spikes weren't legal, so it had to be a 3-point buck to make it legal. And if you saw a 3-point buck, you shot that deer because you're probably never going to see another buck again. But of course, over there in Lavaca County now, Lavaca County, Texas, they have a lot of small places, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 acres, 100 acres. And the neighbors co-op. And what I mean is they cooperate, and in that county, they have a 13-inch rule. So now, not every little three-pointer gets killed anymore, and they have to be as wide as their ears before you can shoot them. And look at there, I'm talking loud. That deer just, it knows my sound now. But it has to be as wide as their ears to shoot them. And I mean, they're killing 160 class deer in Lavaca County. Go on the Hallettsville Big Buck Contest, Lavaca County, Texas. And look at those deer. Those are all wild, free-range deer. And they have the adult, Lavaca County adult, and they have the youth. Look at the youth, what the kids are killing over there. And I just love it. All them German people over there. It's just a wonderful area. Our son lives over there. No, he has a ranch over there, but we're hoping he'll live there soon. But anyways, it's a wonderful place, a wonderful high school. The people are so good over there. They're good, honest, hard-working people. And if you're a good person, you have no problem fitting into that part of the world. But what I mean is, the reason why I'm telling you about Hallettsville, I love Hallettsville, but they have a lot of small acreage over there, and with co-op and with a 13-inch antler rule over there, I mean, they are killing bucks that when I was a kid, you would think that they didn't even exist like that. And they didn't exist like that. But in the same way out here we're at here, most of the people in this part of the world, nowadays deer leases are so expensive, you can almost buy your own small hunting property for what you have to pay to lease a place. So that's what lots of people are doing. And that's the people I end up selling my places to when I put them on the market. But and they're not out there to kill everything. They're out there to enjoy with their family, eat outside, barbecue, hunt. And if they want to shoot something, they can shoot it without somebody telling them they can't shoot it. But for the most part, everybody's real, management minded. I hate that word. I hate that phrase, management minded. I don't even like that word. But they're thinking about the future for their kids and their own personal deer herd. When you lease a deer lease, you want to shoot it. If you see something, you want to shoot it. You paid, you want to kill something. But when you have your own property, even if it's 20 acres, 30, 40, 50 acres, I mean, you will be amazed what kind of success that you can have off of your property. I mean, here we have some of the biggest bucks I've seen in Texas. We had one on I don't know where that picture went. Claire lost the picture. But I guarantee you, or she accidentally erased it. But hopefully it didn't get killed because there's not much shooting going on out here. But that buck, we have that real tall buck right there. He was here last year, but he's even bigger this year. But that buck had a 24 to 26-inch spread last year with tines 14 inches long and more than 10 points. But in Hallettsville, they don't have that. And they have small tracks, and they're killing Boone and Crockett bucks over there every single year. But it's Hallettsville Big Buck Contest, Lavaca County, Texas, and go through all the years. Look at the adult and the youth. And another thing I love about that area, that just shows you there is a future for us. Because, I mean, you never saw so many young people hunting as you do in Lavaca County, Texas. Pretty young girls, good-looking athletic boys, I mean, hard-working. they work on their farms and ranches and cows and everything, then they love hunting. But anyways, we got 2 more places I'm going to show you, then we're going to wrap this video up. But we're going to head on down to the next one. All right, we're coming into my son-in-law's feeder. That's where we're standing up there on the side of that hill a while ago. And you can see I just came in here and mowed the grass back over in here, a little small area, and mowed the middle road coming into here. And that's gonna get rained on, all them seeds gonna pop up, and it's gonna benefit him and the wildlife. But got one more place I'm gonna show you, we're gonna wrap it up. Now we'll finish it up. All right, well, through the day, this morning was beautiful and cool and just felt wonderful. Now it's hot. I got sunburned today, but it's just a great feeling. But right up here, this we're going to end up the video right here. There's the road right there. There's the ranch across the dirt road right there. And so what I've done up here, I've got all this mown right here. And then the other side of this, I got behind my house where I've got mown back in there. And this will pull those deer across out of that thick brush over there through all that cedar where they have nothing to eat. I mean, it's a good place to hide, but that's all there is to it. They'll come over here and they'll find places like I've mown all through my hunting ranch right here. Another thing too, on these small places, you're not going to enter your place and leave your place without the animals knowing you're there. They know you're there. I've lived with deer for the last 40-something years of my life. I've lived where I have deer in my yard, where I live and hunt. But so, well, what I do, I always drive my four-wheeler out to my deer stand. And I always drive it out to my feeders. I go out there, do what I need to do, and when I leave, I set off my feeder, and I sprinkle Grape KoolAid all around where I'm at. As you can see, we just left that one feeder, and I forgot to film over where my son-in-law, where I mow by his stand. So we went back around past my stand, and what was there? Four does had already come back out. I'm talking loud to make this video and everything. So the main thing is, when you're working on your hunting land during the year, you know, I don't say going there playing music and singing real loud and doing all that kind of stuff, but you know, they're going to hear your four-wheeler, they're going to hear you talking. If you got grandkids like I do, they're going to hear the grandkids, Papa, Papa, sing me a song. And we're singing and we're doing stuff like that. So we're making noise. And they get used to that. They know, I can't tell you how many times I've been running a dozer and I've had deer run up, especially axis deer. I have 20, 30 axis deer run up, wild axis deer run up and just see what I'm doing over there. And I don't know how many times I've been running a dozer, look over 12, 15 whitetails just feeding. They get used to machinery, they get used to you coming going. But then when it comes deer season, you're still going to have to ease your way in there. That's when you do want to be as quiet as possible, because even then, as quiet as you are, they know you're there, but there's somebody on every pasture around you. So that's when it really, really makes a difference to go in there. But if you've gone in your pasture and you've done what they do, they know you're four-wheeler, they know the sound of what you're doing, and that other guy's trying to keep his place quiet all year long. I'm not going there, I'm keeping it quiet. So when he comes in his pasture, they're gonna jump the fence, come to your place where they believe that they're safe. And for the most part, they are, because we feed a lot more and look at a lot more of them than we eat, don't we? But anyways, God bless you. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.